Welcome to the Consumer Action Consumer Excellence Awards. This year's Consumer Excellence Awards, which also marks Consumer Action's 49th anniversary, honors individuals and organizations on the front lines of exposing and finding solutions to the intractable problems that affect the health and often, by correlation, the financial situation of low income and underemployed people. Your host for the awards event is Troy Clare, Chair of the Host Committee and Senior Manager for Public Policy at Amazon, where he leads education policy engagement for the company. Take it away, Troy.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Consumer Action's 49th Anniversary Consumer Excellence Awards. I'm Troy Clare, Senior Policy Manager at Amazon, and I am so honored to serve as this afternoon's MC. Amazon has been a long-time supporter of the work of Consumer Action, and we are happy to serve as this year's presenting sponsor. I'd like to start by thanking her for moderating our Health is Wealth convening and leading such an important and timely discussion. Next, I'd like to recognize our event sponsors who made today possible. As I said, Amazon is proud to be the presenting sponsor for today's awards ceremony, including underwriters Chase, Comcast, Facebook, TrackPhone, and our leadership circle sponsors, American Express, Association for Accessible Medicine, Bank of America, Drumfire, Enterprise, Fast, FICO, Lilly, and Microsoft. Thank you for all of your support this year. As chair of the event host committee, I'd like to recognize all of the amazing people I've had the opportunity to work with this year, including Jason Alderman of Fast, Susan Diegelman of AT&T, Sam Jeffries of Drumfire, Daniel Nesto of FICO, Matthew Smith of the Coalition Against Insurance Fraud, and Cleo Stamatos, who's an independent consultant. Thank you all for making this a wonderful, wonderful year. And to everyone watching, we have exceeded our fundraising goal. So I am so happy that everyone has showed their support for the work of Consumer Action. And we've done this all in the middle of a global pandemic. This has certainly been a challenging year for all of us. And I do not know where we'd be without the vital work of consumer action in communities across our country. I've gotten to know Consumer Action over the years, and Amazon has partnered with the organization around our shared interest in protecting consumers and helping them make informed buying decisions. Fast approaching 5 decades of service, Consumer Action's mission is to promote economic justice and financial equality for all consumers by providing freely available, multilingual educational guides, complaint referral hotlines, scam alerts, and timely consumer newsletters. This year, it mounted its COVID-19 financial education project to connect those whose finances have been impacted by the pandemic with vital recovery and relief services. Consumer Action maintains strong ties to a national network of nearly 6,000 community-based organizations so that it can reach underrepresented consumers via the community organizations they know and trust. It offers these community groups trainings, webinars, multilingual publications with information on pressing financial and consumer issues. So it is so fitting that Consumer Action would take the time to honor those who are making a difference in the community. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's kick off our awards presentation. Now I'd like to introduce our first presenter, David Balto, who will present the 2020 Consumer Excellence Award to Families USA. For the past decade, David has been a strong supporter of Consumer Action, helping the organization with expert comments and testimony on antitrust and pharmaceutical drug issues. David is a former Federal Trade Commission policy director and Department of Justice antitrust attorney who is now in private practice. Now, let's hear a short video from David.
Hi, I'm David Balto, a public interest antitrust lawyer. It's my honor today to give the Community Award to Families USA. Families USA is at the vanguard of protecting our rights and making sure consumers receive the health care they deserve. Their vision is a nation where everyone receives the best health and health care, and that health care is equally accessible and available to all. You know, in their offices, you'll see a copy of the Affordable Care Act signed by President Obama. No one worked more tirelessly to assure the enactment of those vital protections, and Families USA continues to work before Congress, the courts, and regulators to protect our rights to receive adequate, low-cost, and competitive consumer-centered healthcare. So I'm proud today to give Consumer Action's Community Award to Families USA, and to give it to Frederica Sassi, the Executive Director of Families USA. Thank you.
Greetings to the consumer action community. Congratulations on 49 amazing years and all the terrific work you've done on behalf of all of us. Thank you also for this honor. I wish I could join you all in person to celebrate. Of course, because of the pandemic, we must all stay safe and remote. And so I want to begin by acknowledging what an incredibly difficult time we are living through. This COVID pandemic and economic crisis is one of the greatest challenges we face as a nation. First and foremost, I hope that each of you, your loved ones, your friends, and your communities are safe and getting the support they need to weather this terrible storm. I'm also so deeply humbled and honored to receive this 2020 Consumer Excellence Award on behalf of the entire staff at Families USA. We've been fighting for almost 40 years to ensure that the very best health and healthcare are equally accessible and affordable to all. We share the focus and the passion of the consumer action community to understand and then advocate for the needs of all families. In particular, the very most vulnerable in our nation. Family USA's work focuses on all aspects of health and healthcare. We're very well known in Washington, D.C. and in Congress and the federal administration. We also work so closely with our phenomenal state leaders, many part of the consumer action community, to influence national policy and also to work in state capitals and state policymakers to change policies and programs on the state level. There are 4 key areas that we focus on. First, healthcare value, ensuring that the national understanding of health is transformed, reorienting the U.S. healthcare system to lower costs and improve quality and outcomes, ensuring that healthcare consumers and families are able to achieve their optimal health. Second, healthcare equity, ensuring that all families face no barriers to achieving their optimal health because of who they are, where they live, or how they identify. Third, coverage, ensuring that families have affordable, high-quality coverage that meets their healthcare needs and protects their financial security. And fourth, consumer experience, ensuring that the experiences of healthcare consumers and families are at the very center of policymaking on the federal and state levels, including in the design and implementation phases of healthcare transformation. As you can see, we've set our sights very high. Our work is truly about making sure that every single person in our nation, and that every single family can live their healthiest life, that they have their best health and health economic security as a foundation to live and become all they can and desire to be. We've had so many victories over the last years, year by year and decade by decade. We've been able to improve our national and state policies to create things like the Children's Health Insurance Program, the Medicare drug benefit, improvements in culturally appropriate care and care for communities of color, and eventually passage of the Affordable Care Act, which was a critical step in ensuring that families can access high quality care with financial security and eliminate the loopholes and games that insurance companies used to play with families in need. But my friends, this is not nearly enough. The last 4 years have been so difficult, a fight in every corner to maintain and protect the victories of last decades. And then the COVID pandemic has laid bare the terrible inequities that exist in our society, inequities for communities of color, for the frontline workers who are our heroes, but also are forced because of economic insecurity to work in jobs that aren't protecting them. The women and men picking our food, delivering our packages, caring for our sick families, working in our grocery stores, and on and on. We also have learned how structural racism has left families vulnerable because of the air they breathe, the lack of fair housing, the lack of jobs and benefits that allow families to take time away from work to care for their families when they are in need. We also have to end the war on science and facts that have created political divides about following public health science, the use of face masks, the importance of testing and tracing, and comprehensive supports to assist families in self-quarantining to end the spread of this terrible disease. We must leverage this moment to ensure that every family suffering, every lost soul, every grandmother, every grandfather, every aunt and uncle, every son or daughter, and brother or sister that we have lost, that their death and this terrible loss is not in vain. If you want to know more, please visit us at familiesusa.org. We need all the leaders in the consumer action community connected to our work and our fight. Thank you again for this wonderful honor. We are with you all in spirit and in our shared belief that we as a nation can and must be more just, fair, and equitable. Congrats again on 49 terrific years. All the staff at Families USA is so very proud of being a part of your community in our shared fight for social justice. Thank you.
Wow, I really appreciate those powerful words, and congratulations once again to Families USA for the work that they're doing in the community. I'd like to next introduce our second presenter, David Lazarus, who is an award-winning business and consumer columnist for the Los Angeles Times. He also appears on KTLA TV Channel 5 and himself is a recipient of a Consumer Excellence Award in 2009. David will present the 2020 Consumer Excellence Award for Media to Kaiser Health News. Now we'll hear a short video from David.
Thank you very much for having me, albeit virtually. Somebody once said that nobody knew how difficult healthcare is. In fact, everybody knows how difficult healthcare is, which makes Kaiser Health News and more broadly the Kaiser Family Foundation indispensable resources, not just to stay on top of the latest news, but also to understand many of the moving parts that is the healthcare equation, which is something so challenging that a lot of people don't even try. Happily, Kaiser Health News does, and does so succinctly and authoritatively. I use it all the time, not just to stay abreast of the latest news, but also to understand the ramifications of a lot of these developments. It's an enormous achievement on the part of Kaiser Health News that they're able to do this so well and so accessibly. And that's why it is my great honor to present the Media Award for Consumer Excellence to Kaiser Health News. And accepting the award, its editor-in-chief, somebody whose work I admire very, very much, Elizabeth Rosenthal.
I'm so thrilled to accept this Consumer Excellence Award on behalf of KHN, or formerly known as Kaiser Health News, where I'm editor-in-chief. I mean, we like to say our official narrative is that our newsroom is about health and health policy, but really it's about people. And every story we try to talk about what the implications are for patients/consumers, and more. The stories are both health and consumer stories, and what we really try and do is figure out how these policies play out on the lives of patients, people on the ground, the end users. And what we so often find is the greatest hardship is not the medical care, it's the financial trouble that it leaves individuals and families in, from bankruptcy to not being able to send their kid to summer camp. Health is a pocketbook issue for America. I hope it plays out that way and people think about it that way in this election. It's so important. And this is a particularly nice moment to accept it in September. Our bill of the month this month is about a lovely young man, he's 31 now, who is facing his second bankruptcy from developing something called post-viral myocarditis. He happened to get it from the flu, but it's something we are now seeing in young people from COVID. Now more than ever, we need to think of how to make healthcare in this country affordable for every consumer. You can see I'm doing my little plug here, our Bill of the Month, which we run with both NPR and CBS This Morning every month. So I hope everyone follows along with that. It's really a tragedy, and boy, if we can help consumers of healthcare in any way, we're thrilled to do it. So thank you so much for recognizing our work, and I hope we have a better year next year all around. Thank you. Maybe even in person.
And so great. It's so wonderful to have quality healthcare news at this time. And I want to congratulate Kaiser News on their award. Next, I'd like to introduce our final presenter, Doug Heller, a nationally recognized insurance expert who works with Consumer Federation of America. Mr. Heller will present the 2020 Consumer Excellence Award in the regulatory field to Pennsylvania Insurance Commissioner, Dr. Jessica Altman. Now we'll hear a short video from Doug.
Hi, I'm Doug Heller of Consumer Federation of America. As CFA's insurance advocate, I do not often give awards to insurance commissioners, or even say many nice things about them. But I am more than pleased to present Consumer Action's Award for Consumer Excellence in the regulatory or legislative arena to the Insurance Commissioner for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Jessica Altman. To start, Commissioner Altman is a consumer advocate herself. Sometimes when we talk to insurance regulators, we have to remind them that they are the first line of defense for policyholders. But Commissioner Altman clearly came to the job with that built into her worldview. Central to her tenure has been working to ensure that Pennsylvanians have access to quality health insurance and are not stuck with junk products that provide inadequate coverage. Each time the Trump administration has taken aim at the Affordable Care Act, Commissioner Altman has spoken out and taken action to protect consumers from the administration's attacks and from those deceptive players in the marketplace trying to take advantage of vulnerable consumers. Of course, it's not surprising that she would be such a strong advocate for patients. Before her work in Pennsylvania, Commissioner Altman worked at Health and Human Services in DC, developing the rules that implemented the ACA. Being an insurance regulator is a tough job because you're managing an industry with a lot of politically powerful companies selling products that people must buy. That means the market is uneven and insurance companies have a built-in advantage. It is particularly unfair for consumers in underserved communities stuck with the double burden of having to buy high-priced products and bearing the brunt of systemic biases that often leave people of color paying more and getting less. But for the consumers of Pennsylvania, there is truly someone on their side. So, Commissioner Altman, I am pleased to present you with this Consumer Excellence Award, and I urge you to keep fighting for consumers.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jessica Altman, and I have the privilege of serving as the Insurance Commissioner for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. First, I want to thank Consumer Action for your hard work and dedication towards educating and advocating for strong consumer rights and policies that promote fairness and financial prosperity for underrepresented consumers nationwide. I also want to thank Consumer Action for recognizing the critical consumer protection role insurance regulators play. While insurance is no one's favorite thing to talk about, except maybe mine, it plays a role in almost every aspect of our lives, and we rely on it to be there for us at what are often the hardest times in our lives. I am extremely honored and humbled to accept this 2020 Consumer Excellence Award. I am grateful to the dedicated, thoughtful, and resourceful individuals at the Pennsylvania Insurance Department, and I am accepting and sharing this award with each of them. Providing a healthy regulatory environment that promotes a vibrant insurance marketplace that serves all of Pennsylvania's consumers is the foundation we stand on each and every day, as we dutifully make decisions and recommendations that we hope will positively impact individuals, families, and businesses across Pennsylvania. Within the last year, my department has responded to the COVID-19 pandemic and worked tirelessly to make sure the insurance marketplace continued to meet consumers' needs and adapt to our changing world. We conducted market conduct examinations that resulted in unprecedented fines for companies violating laws requiring parity of coverage for substance use disorder and mental health, affecting some of our most vulnerable. We secured an Affordable Care Act 1332 waiver, allowing the state to create a reinsurance program that will lower premiums for many Pennsylvanians for years to come. And in 2019, we reclaimed more than $69 million for more than 24,000 consumers who had funds stolen, payments improperly processed, or other forms of restitution or credit due to them from companies or producers. We have been busy, but we are far from slowing down. Now we must heavily shift our attention to fighting for our healthcare. With the case currently before the Supreme Court, our entire healthcare system is on the line. Protections for those with pre-existing conditions, guaranteed coverage for the essential health benefits, including mental health and substance use disorder treatment in the midst of the other epidemic our nation continues to combat, the opioid crisis. the expansion of state Medicaid programs and subsidies to help individuals and families who buy private insurance on their own, which collectively have provided coverage to millions. All of this is on the line with this lawsuit. Access to health insurance coverage and therefore to care is crucial in supporting Americans through the COVID-19 healthcare crisis. Healthcare shouldn't be a political issue, and no American should have to choose between their health and their rent, medication, or food on their family's table. So now, as we fight to make sure that that is a world none of us have to live in more than ever, the Pennsylvania Insurance Department is driven by our mission to promote a competitive and robust marketplace and educate consumers to make informed decisions to ensure they are treated fairly. Thank you again so much for this award and the acknowledgement of the hard work of the wonderful people I work with each and every day. Thank you.
And thank you. It's so great to have Dr. Altman and to congratulate all of the awardees and celebrating their achievement. Now I'd like to welcome Ken Mcendowney, Consumer Actions Executive Director, who has led the organization for nearly 40 years. Ken will now join us live on video to tell you a little bit about the work that they are doing in order to help during this difficult time, and a little bit about what we have done as part of this year's effort to make sure that we help consumer action raise the funds that it needs in order to be successful. And so I will turn it over to Ken.
Hi, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad for the support of everyone on this call and everyone who's not on the call. It's been an amazing year for us in terms of the entire staff now working virtually. And it's been a challenge for our administrative staff to make sure it worked properly, but it's a challenge that we've met. And I think it's not just us, but I think it's most nonprofits and many governmental agencies and corporations that are facing the same problem. And it's not just facing COVID, certainly for those of us on the West Coast, we're facing fires that are just consuming huge amounts of land. As I look out my window right now, I can barely see much more than 20 or 30 feet because of the smoke that's coming from the fires from the wine country. Our staff has sort of raised the level of work that they've done to sort of meet this challenge. The COVID-19 educational project that Troy mentioned has been highly successful. We've been getting hundreds of people from community groups to attend our informative webinars, and thousands have gone to our resource guide updates, and many more, tens of thousands have accessed the fact sheets that we've done in the multiple languages. We're continuing to do the excellent work that we've always done, but it's only possible by the work that's being done by our staff, our board, the corporate advisory board, and the event committee headed by Troy. I give special thanks to Ruth, who sort of was pulled together the highly successful convening, and also to Vicki, who has sort of managed a lot of the work, not just in terms of managing the invoices that are coming in, but also in terms of helping to set up with our outside consultant Carol this virtual award ceremony and also the convening. And I think what's even more amazing to me is that I was very nervous in terms of when we started off this year. We were having the award ceremony be earlier this year than usual. It's an election year. There's a pandemic. But somehow the hard work of everyone that I've already mentioned, plus others, have resulted in our setting new records in terms of sponsorships and total revenue raised, which will make it possible for us to continue to do the free services that we are recognized for, the free services that serve the low and moderate income consumers and limited English speaking consumers that we're known for. So usually when I finish my, my comments at the end of the word ceremony, I tell people, okay, go back and eat and drink. I don't think you can start drinking this early in the day, but certainly I would urge people to, take a few minutes to sort of reflect on, in terms of what you learned in terms of the convening and also the words of our presenters and also the word recipients. And have a great rest of your day, the rest of the week. Please stay safe. And thanks again for supporting Consumer Action.
Thanks so much, Ken, and we appreciate the work you do. And I think that being able to get that support, as you said, in an election year and during a pandemic just shows how vital people know the work that Consumer Action is doing. And I really want to thank all of you who are watching today. We appreciate your steadfast support of Consumer Action during these very, very difficult times. We value your commitment to uplifting communities and our country. And as Ken said, enjoy the rest of your day and stay safe. Thank you for joining us this afternoon.